Well, that was a fast ban. So, D.Va gets banned instantly. We are in the winner bracket of the Last Chance qualifier here at the Eternal Conflict Season 1. And of course, with Virgil on one side, D.Va gets immediately banned. If you don't ban D.Va against Virgil, they're gonna play D.Va basically every single game. So, welcome. We got DDX going up against the Enjoyers. We are on the newest patch, obviously. Group B was already played out in the new patch. And right now we have the Last Chance qualifier. The teams had a little bit more time to experiment with the changes, to try for new drafts and see what they can do here. But yeah, pretty curious. We have right now D.Va banned. That was already to be expected. We have two teams going up against each other that still have, of course, the ambition to make it to the playoffs. And in this case, we see Mopsio playing for the Enjoyers. So that's interesting. And again, Dehaka gets picked early. Now, I kind of like that this is starting to become a bit of a thing, more of a thing than it was in Group B, that we have Falstad and Dehaka now played in the games that we've seen so far in the Last Chance qualifier. Because after the patch, I really expected the Globals to play, if not a bigger role, then at least a role on the same priority level as previously. And then Group B happened, and it seemed like teams were just shying away from picking Globals. Now, the Haka had, of course, experienced a couple of changes, and you can argue that they were nerfs. You now have a much bigger cooldown on your Brush Stalker, which you need to reduce by picking up health globes. So you can play around that mechanic a little bit. But he still offers that global soak that you oftentimes want, and that becomes even more important now in the new patch, where the experience globes disappear so much faster. The small experience globes are now completely gone from the game, which means that you can't just get away with sloppy rotations anymore. You have to get onto those lanes quickly and get the experience so that you're not falling behind on minion XP. And if you don't respect that, then you're gonna have a pretty tough time. So Jojo Rega kick us off for Team DDX for the Storm League Enjoyers. We got Mopsio and ETC apparently. And Chromie gets played. Alright, so Zagzi is logging in Chromie. Hogger banned and Anduin got banned out too. But with this being Infernal Shrines, I still want to see... I mean, generally, with the new patch, I want to see if some teams go for picks they would previously not have chosen. And I suppose you can throw Zul into that bracket. With Virgil, you never really know, but Zul has been played a bit more now in the new patch because you have that easy rotation between the lanes with that wave clear that you're running, so that helps. But we've seen Asmodan plays, we've seen some Gaslow, and you can always argue, okay, how much of that was just people experimenting a bit, how much was really them believing this is the best strategy in that situation. I suppose we're going to find out as we are approaching not only the end of this qualifier, but then also the playoffs themselves. Brightwing Genji for the Enjoyers, and then last but not least for the blue team, we still need a little bit more damage. Could also come in the form of another frontliner, obviously. Triple melee here would not be too bad for them either. But yeah, let's see. There you go, Alarak. Alarak is in. Yeah, we're good to go. Infernal Shrines, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 1 in the best of 5 series here in the winner bracket of the Last Chance qualifier. Game on, off we go. We got our first game in this best of 5 with the blue team starting things up on the left with Shizakid on Johanna. We got Nastia is apparently what this translates into on Alarak. I honestly don't know who plays the account right now. They haven't let us know, but it's clearly someone that is not playing as main. We got Danazovsky on Rega, Virgil on Zul, and Dead Inside is playing Hanzo. Over on the right side, Briss on Brightwing for the Enjoyers. We got Richu on the Haka, Zagzi on Chromie, Arian on Genji, and Mopsio is playing ETC. I mean, the only other inclination or info that I have about the lineups and what they could potentially play is like that Papa Smurf is playing this one. But, yeah. That's the one that is listed, Ukrainian player. But again, some of the accounts being played out here. I learned, by the way, just a couple of weeks ago that apparently in Spanish, I mean, I live in Spain, I live in Valencia now, but Smurf in Spanish means pitufo. So you have Papa Pitufo. I don't know. It's kind of funny. You have the Papa Smurf. I honestly don't know how all of the Smurfs are called in English. Obviously, when I was a kid, it was all in German. But it's still kind of funny to me. And apparently, in Spanish, it's the Pitufos, which sounds kind of cute and is a little bit amusing to me. So, thought I would share that with you. But we got on level 1 for Zul, we got the Shackler. Zul already pushing a bit up at the top. For Chromie, we went straight into Time Troubles. And for ETC, the Block Party. And again, ETC played by Mopsio, so someone else that has a long history in competitive play. And especially, of course, also in HGC. But also, Mopsio has a little bit of a reputation. There's a reputation of tilting. And I guess we're gonna find out if the blue team can tilt in here today. Or if they are just gonna be able to dominate this one, and then everything is totally fine here. Now, either way, we got a couple of stacks coming in with a simple geometry on level 1 now for Hanzo. Got the quick rotation between the lanes. Zul is essentially just doing his own thing, but gets attacked a bit by Genji. So Genji is just gonna try and move towards the side lane every now and then to make things easier for the Haka and apply additional pressure to him. Down at the bottom of the map, as we have ETC sliding in, it's a bit of a tank battle. It's kind of funny always when you have tanks going up against each other. Usually all that it means is just an endless fight that never finishes properly because they all come in with some kind of sustain that they can rock. Alarak with the combo attempt at the top has gone into show of force on level 4, so we don't get any lightning stacks, but we can keep our eye on his sadism to see how much of an impact he has in the game as it continues. So yeah, that will be something to watch out for. Over on the left side, they're already attempting to time the camp around the objective. Quick reminder, with the new patch, it also means that on this map, the Punishers do not jump over the walls anymore. You can't bait them over any longer. So no mechanic on this end, meaning they are technically a little bit stronger. Structures have additional hit points. It was increased by 12.5% of HP. Structure health, just simply because we have now the Inspire mechanic on minions whenever a hero that is close to them attacks a structure with an auto attack. So to compensate for that and make sure that this doesn't result in games being insanely fast, they increased structure health to offset this a little bit. The entire plan with the patch was clearly to empower individual play a bit, to make macro game slightly more important, make the side lane position also more impactful. And so far it has actually worked out. The games that we've seen so far were pretty solid. I mean, I've had a lot of fun with the games that were played out in Group B, and so far the last chance qualifier matches were also highly entertaining. So, a lot of stuff successful, I'd say. ETC's performance on the Shrine was not all that successful. Mopsio's actually first blood in the game, so he's the first one that gets killed. Seems there's going to be burgers on the grill today for DDX. And they're going to get the objective with the Frozen Punisher jumping in first. So, let's go. Like, the only mechanic that I'm still really torn about is the priority change on forts, core, and keeps defending heroes. Or basically not defending them anymore, allowing dives onto those structures. You now have that armor mechanic in the circle around the forts and like forts, keeps, and core, but I don't really know. They should have just left it the way that it was, not implemented armor stuff, and the rest of the changes are totally fine, I think. It's a little bit weird. I would have really liked to see the impacts without those two changes made, because I'm not sure if that's really good, if it's bad. It just feels like it's weird. Weird is probably the best. I don't even think it's horrible, it's just weird. And my question would be, why? Like, what does that exactly solve? But, okay, whatever. So, right now, we got 1 kill. The objective has done a little bit of damage, but honestly was less than I expected. I thought that the blue team would try to capitalize on this a little more than they actually did. In addition to that, we have now 107 sadism for Alarak, with him popping hindered motion here. So he's trying to get the additional slow out. It's all about control for them right now. But Alarak will play a big role in the damage department for the blue team, or at least it should. So full on High Lord there. Zul has been a happy panda on the lanes the entire time. It's getting a little bit more done here. I would always love if just the side laners would always try to get at least 1 or 2 hits in with the auto attacks to activate Inspire. But since Zul's job is basically also to take care of the mid lane, Virgil was already sitting there. The Haka, Genji, both up at the top. So if Virgil actually rotates back up, he might run straight into them. And Genji already sniffs that out, slows him down slightly, allows for the Haka to have a bit more time on the lane before he needs to retreat there. And they have a quick level 10. So they actually get level 10 pretty early. Zul still gets a bit attacked. Arian is moving in, still needs to stay away from that fort range. Yes, the target priority has changed, but that doesn't mean that the fort is not going to attack you if nothing else is around. So that still happens. We have Stage Dive for a bit of global action for ETC, and we're also getting Blink Heal for Brightwing. That's down at the bottom of the map. The blue team has now picked up their own level 10 talent. And destroy the wall. So, yeah, they got that. I think they really want Zul, don't they? Alarak without a choice yet. There we go. Counter-strike for him. And in the middle, still the blue team moving towards the top a bit because they're realizing, hey, the opponent is making a thing. That arrow, not even close, my friends. Yep. Dead inside. I don't know, I like it when arrows are missing. They're kind of funny. I want to have a permanent arrow cam. Like the entire time to just like check where they fly. You have them traverse country after country. But in this case, they were obviously hoping to get a quick kill on ETC. Again, it's not only the fact that you're killing ETC. If you can tilt Mopsio, you know that you're going to be in a good point. It's going to lead to mistakes down the road. I don't want to be mean here, but the man has a reputation for a reason, and he doesn't even deny it. I don't know if anything changed since then, but he was very outspoken about it in the past. If he is still easily triggered and tends to getting emotional there, then yes, tilting him is definitely a viable strategy for success. So things might have changed since then, I don't know, but back in the day, Focus Mopsio was definitely something that occasionally happened. Now, Richu, he's a bit low here, and we have the skeletal mages already on the ground. It's the red team that is ahead, but the question is for how much longer. Genji jumping in, Stage Dive ETC saying hello too, but we have the blue team slowly starting to pick up more stacks and they might pull ahead, but big damage from Chromie, nicely done. They are killing the Haka though. The Haka is gone, and well, this is still a Punisher that the red team could grab. And they do! They picked the Mortar Punisher, was massively close at the end with 39 to 37 stacks, but of course they lost the Haka and won't be able to do a whole lot here. Well, actually, now that you can't push it, bait it over the wall, you will still do some damage, no matter what. So, yeah, that at least helps them a bit. No kills yet for the Enjoyers, though. That was a bit of a strange... For parts, it was a bit of a strange fight. Because it seemed for a long time like Chromie, who just signed out here. Bye-bye! Exactly. Like, she would be able to get them a kill or two. There's a lot of burst damage in the choke point. But, yeah, they didn't get the kill. Still got the Punisher for what it was worth. Now we have 3 kills to 0 and level 13 talents available on the side of DDX. But, yeah. ETC is still sharking around here. And is actually threatening this. Is moving in and saying, hey boys, don't you want to just give this up? And the team decided no. Arrow, this time on point. Nice. Apparently Hanzo went to archery school and locked that bullseye in, so they get a Dehaka kill. Good for him. Well done. Danazovsky! And Rega is dead before he can hit the Ancestral. They got the kill on Falstad. On Budget Falstad. On Brightwing though, the Fruit Fly, Trashwing, is dead too, so an exchange of healers. And that allowed Virgil to push at the top with 2 minion waves now. So, a few more attacks in, moves away before Mopsio comes by, and that's the wall basically gone. Alarak is sitting at 133 sadism stacks, so with 19,000 damage, he's not looking too bad. He's the 4th highest damage dealer in the game currently. Could definitely jump a bit higher than that. Genji, Chromie looking real strong here. The 2 of them in the number 1, number 2 spot, and then we're looking at Hanzo. 5 kills, 2-1 still, and Ford at the bottom has taken some damage. Ford in the middle has taken a little bit of damage. We might be able to do more here. But they want level 16. Yeah, they're more than half a level ahead. You can just slow the game down slightly, get level 16, and then play around the forts and the next objective. You're going to be in a fine spot. So, currently, shield on Rega much longer at the same time. Yeah, there's the next attack coming. And Genji, okay, has to move out too, but we have a push in the middle and we have a push at the top. So on each lane you have now a camp pushing, and then you have topside Zul, okay, him retreating, but he's also rejoining the rest in the middle, possibly. Very safe path that has now been taken by Zul. Doesn't want to run into any opponents that shut him down here. ETC is just now playing the side lane position quite a bit. I mean, he has stage dive, so they can use the Haka down to the bottom for a lick, and yeah, no kill. But they nearly killed Jojo. Shizakid basically moved into the damage from Chromie. Gets hit also by the time trap, but can now move away. And Zul is just keeping ETC and Genji both busy. Not able to get a kill though. Moved up towards the top, trying to take the camp just in time for the next objective. Of course, playing around the Shamans again. It's a clutch one. It's a really close one. I mean, again, this is the lead into the best of 5 series. You want to start this one off with a win if you can. And especially for the Enjoyers, it's a bit tricky since they haven't really killed a whole lot of heroes here. The only one that has fallen was Rhaegar, and even that came at a price. The first objective, though, went to the Enjoyers. So now that we're looking at the next battle, or one objective went to the Enjoyers. So now that we have the next battle coming up on 16 for both sides, ETC gets attacked right away. Hanzo missed that one shot. Mopsio moves out, tries to re-engage. Everybody's low on the blue team though. Self-Ancestral from Rhaegar. And it's full control from the Enjoyers. They have to catch up in points a little bit. Alarak is getting more sadism together. I mean, his damage output is going to be really looking good as this continues, if he doesn't get killed. And they nearly take down ETC. They do take down ETC. Mopsio is dead again, second time, but as the Haka falls, Alarak gets wrecked and loses the sadism stacks. Now, to be fair, it's 4 kills. It's a full 5-man team wipe. I guess that's worth the cost, but losing the sadism stacks obviously sucks. Massive fight there, though. I mean, Alarak dying, but everybody else got murdered. It's 10 kills against 2. Zul is pushing the top now, is going for the 4 tier. Inspired minions, mercenaries, everything in the middle. The fort is already gone with the Punisher dropping it. And now, as only Hanzo is pushing here, we have the rest of the blue team at the bot lane going for the next fort. So, winning the objective and taking this many heroes out in the process, that all was now just resulted in the perfect storm, essentially. A massive lead in experience, huge amount of structures destroyed, the entire outer ring of defense is gone. In the middle, the keep is even taking some damage, and if you look up at the top, then basically the wall was dropped here as well. Even if the Haka can save that tower, then yeah, one hit and this thing is disappearing too. So they're looking great here. They're looking really good now. 38,000 damage for Hanzo, 39,000 for Chromie, Alarak on 23,000, but still chipping in a lot in that last fight. And look how close they are to 20. So for DDX, this is good news. DDX is in a very, very good spot to pull further ahead here. They're going to get level 20 and then they can siege up on the keep. There's no additional camps on the map that they could instead go for. Can defend at the top if they want to. But honestly, as long as there's this many at the top, they can also just simply push for the keep. That works as well. I mean, right now, top lane pressure is there. Mopsio and Dehaka, they're the two still sitting tight, but they have to retreat too, or it's going to be too much that is lost. Level 20 is ready. That gives us the Ancestral upgrade. We also have Might of the High Lord now. Shield upgraded, Bullseye, and look at the damage on that keep alone already. ETC is slowly moving down, but the keep is low. There's pressure in the middle as well, which ETC is now taking care of first. Arrow is getting YOLO'd out. That was a dominance arrow. That inside just simply YOLO'd it out with even... It's a no-look arrow. Just establishing dominance, just showing the opponent that you don't even need that ult in order to wreck them. It's not really that brave if you have a 2-level advantage, because by the time when you have the next proper fight, probably has it back. But yeah, clear no-look arrow. So, yeah, that hit anything. Little bit of vision. Genji says hello, and is gonna zip. And might? Nah, they're not gonna get it. Doesn't get shot down that hard. But I guess the Enjoyers are gonna pick up the level 20. Next objective, they got plenty of time. They got 2 globals, plenty of time to pick up their own level 20 talent before the next objective spawns. They've suffered a lot of structural losses, but they're still technically in the game here. Now on the experience side, always interesting with the new patch to check that out too. Minion experience, even-ish, but the enjoyers are ahead there. That's of course the big change, the minion experience. So right now we are 16 minutes into the game, and here comes the next objective. They need level 20. They need level 20 and they're gonna get it. Genji is already poking in the middle a little bit more. Doesn't want to overstay, of course. We have the Haka down at the bottom of the map. Chromie got another one. So yeah, this is going to give them the level 20 talent. And now it's time to really face the music. We have Crowd Pleaser for ETC. We're getting Unraveling. Genji hasn't made a choice yet, but will in a second. Could upgrade to the Living Weapon over here. And likely will. There it is. Takes the pick. ETC still up at the top. And they are all nibbling on the edges, trying to get those Shrine Minions. So, the lead for the blue team. Alarak, again, attempting to rebuild his sadism stacks too. 18 stacks to 17. It's gonna get clutch. Arrow, and it hits in the back line. Hits on Brightwing, and they take down the Haka. The Haka is gone. Alarak gets wrecked as well. Great Ancestral, by the way, from Rhaegar. That dropped, amongst others, also Genji as he was trying to get a kill and a reset. That was really well done. Shizakid is on the move, but look at that Ancestral. The Ancestral was absolutely on point. Shizakid surviving, that was big too. They do not have Alarak with them, but they have a huge opportunity now to go down to the bottom of the map and take the keep out. And potentially the core. At least damage it. 30 seconds until the Haka and Genji are both back, and they're already taking down the keep before the Punisher even arrives. Jump on Mopsio. They're baiting it in the middle. We were hoping to get a follow-up on ETC. There's a bit of damage at least on it. There's another wave coming through the mid lane too, so that keep might also be in trouble. Already we have the Skeletal Mages out, the shield just disappearing super quickly on the core. So they're going for the attack here. They want it. Punisher's getting distracted a little bit, but the blue team obviously without mercy is moving in for the kill. They want the lead in the series and they're gonna get it. The best of 5 starts off with a win for DDX as they take it on Infernal Shrines. Nicely done. GG. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. Okay, Towers of Doom, map number 2. The Enjoyers, they lost the first map, Infernal Shrines, went to DDX, so now in the lead in the best of 5 series. There are no draft restrictions, keep that in mind. 1,500 euros in total on the line for the tournament victory. We are now in the last chance qualifier. We started this out with Group A and Group B, 10 teams in total. Some already advanced to the playoffs, and the teams that couldn't make it through the group stage, they are now in on their last chance to make it into the playoff time. So, Towers of Doom, we got Rhaegar banned out after the clutch Ancestral that we had on the last map. Yeah, makes sense. But could be an interesting map because we could potentially see Vikings here. We haven't seen Vikings yet in the new patch, and this is obviously one of the maps that works pretty well with Vikings in general. This is also why Vikings have been banned plenty of times here. Maybe now they're going to make it through and the Haka gets banned, so technically Vikings are ready. I'm just not sure how well the teams really play around the potential Viking pick here. But we'll see. At this point in time, it's all about the first pick. Towers of Doom also leads itself a little bit to Stitch's performance, for example. It's another one that we could technically see here. If the Haka is banned out and you still want to play with the global false, that would of course be another option. But we start things off with Blaze on that top lane. It's kind of funny to me though that the Haka is now ban worthy. Right there. And in comes D.Va and Malfurion. Told you already in draft 4 map number 1 that if they do not ban D.Va, D.Va will be picked. Virgil loves his D.Va and is good with D.Va too. So we get Malfurion together with that. And the question at hand, of course, what are the Enjoyers now trying to do? What is the game plan? What is the idea here for them? They go for a pretty typical front line with Blaze, Jojo Blaze, Material Blaze, super typical. And then we get Chromie again. So apparently Zaxi really still likes to play as Chromie. She gets banned. For, well, she might get banned later. She didn't get banned here, so she gets picked again. Blue team played well around Chromie in the previous one, so it's fine. But we'll see what they are now doing in game... I mean, game 2, they could technically... I guess they could go with Tyrael Judgment into a Jet Propulsion, and Chromie is just like teeing up on all of it. But still... You're going for a very similar style of what you already played out in game number 1. So I'm not sure how this is going to work for them. There's my Stitches pick. I highlighted that a moment ago. Can create a little bit of space with D.Va. You have the Explosion. You have Malfurion roots. So all of that is tying nicely into the game plan for Towers of Doom for the blue team. I'm still eager to see what the Enjoyers want to do outside of what they already have. I don't mind the draft, by the way. The start into the draft is nice. The only thing is that it is, at least on the damage side, it looks a bit similar to what they already tried in game number 1 with Chromie being played again here. And DDX did really well with it. So now they have Hanzo. That's another arrow out. Can try and get those stuns. Here comes Tracer. Okay, I like it. So they got Tracer in now. And then we get Lucio. So, party time! They went double Overwatch on the back end of the draft, you know, to get the all the OP heroes in. So now we get Tracer, Lucio. Tracer's going to apply pressure to Malfurion as well, of course. And then Lucio speeds them up even further. If it works for them, great. If they can make that work, fantastic. But time will tell. So now the final pick for Towers of Doom, our second map in the best of 5 series, and we get Genji double Shimada for the blue team. DDX against the Enjoyers, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. DDX against the Enjoyers, and on the left side we got the blue team with Shizakid on Stitches coming in with the patchwork creation. We got Genji played by Papa Smurf. Danazovsky on Malfurion. Virgil is playing D.Va, and obviously we're now having also Dead Inside on Hanzo. So, over on the right side, Brirs on Lucio. We got Zaxi on Chromie again. Richu is playing Blaze. Chromie with deep breathing over here. We're getting Mopsio on Tyrael, and Arion is playing Tracer. So we got quite a lot of Overwatch characters in the game right now, if you take a closer look at it. I mean, it's honestly a little bit ridiculous. On the blue team we have 3 Overwatch characters, and then on the red team we have 2. So they're going all... Oh, Hanzo, careful, my friend. What are you doing over here? Nearly dying in the middle. I gotta be a little more careful, I gotta be cautious. So, well, with this we now have top side already established. D.Va's made her move there. The rest of the team is starting with a rotation. On level 1 we get full metal, and they are chasing hard, aren't they? I mean, damn, they want Danazovsky. Genji, oh, there's the kill. They go for Tyrael and they get the counter. But the explosion and the body blocking eliminates Stitches. Yeah, he needs to slim down a little bit. Can you imagine if that was a thing? If somehow we could get a slim, thin Stitches model, how would that actually work? Would he still be able to gobble people up? Would that be a thing? I honestly don't know. Would look weird though. Stitches is a chunky boy, always was a chunky boy, and always will be a chunky boy. Would just feel wrong if he would slim down all of a sudden. And let's just face it, he's not going to win any beauty contests anyways, no matter what he does here. I mean, he has the typical face that only a mother can love, and it's just what it is. Schnitzelkin, right there. And there's the kill. Alright, down goes Tracer. And Chromie, Genji, damn. He's on an absolute tear over here. He wants more. He wants Mopsio, and he gets Mopsio. It's a triple, baby. Holy shit. Nicely done. Great plays here by Genji. So, some pretty sexy plays in that little encounter. Getting one kill after another, and then at the end, taking Mopsio down too. So, well, there's that. Down at the bottom of the map, the kids are coming in and they're taking the wall down, at least partially. But the blue team, they are, I mean, they're connecting exactly where they left off in game number 1. They're getting mega aggressive right now. And are trying to get some quick kills on all of this. If they can pull ahead and build up momentum, that would be pretty amazing for them. Now the objective is going to spawn in 2 seconds. And then we'll see who walks away with the 2 out of the 3 altars. Always assuming that it's the traditional 2-3 split that we're going to see here. Oh, if that's a kill, if they can take down Blaze at the top, that would be a disaster. Richu gets attacked, is low. Genji, does he get it? Nah, and he does not. That could have been bad. If Blaze dies at the top, very likely they are losing at a minimum 2 altars, but they could have actually lost even straight. But as is, it's bad enough. Because, yeah, he needs to be careful here. Ooh, Tracer though. Tracer gets caught, but they kill Hanzo. So it's a kill for a kill at least. Yeah, Genji is coming back down to the bottom of the map to help the team out. So it was actually a numbers advantage for the red team. Top left, top right get exchanged as usual. So no surprises there. And down at the bottom of the map, DDX now wants the third. Yeah, Lucio. Lucio's literally running circles around them. Such an annoying... Evil hero. So, they could potentially get a kill here though. Genji was just waiting for that cooldown. Jumps into the back line, was still trying to take Lucio out, but couldn't quite make it work. So right now we have still a channel attempt, with now it of course unfolding into a full 5 versus 5. There was a level 7 advantage for a while now for the blue team, but they haven't been able to really translate it into anything tangible. And now the red team is back and has their own level 7. So it's even talents again. Stitches barely makes it out of the choke point here, but it seems like Zagzi might just be able... No, D.Va. With all that interrupt potential on D.Va, they are able to shut Chromie down once again. But that is still a bit of a problem. Bomb is out. D.Va makes it. Blaze is a bit low here. And they're really at it. I mean, they're in each other's throat right now in that fight. One hit after another. And again, the attempt this time by DDX to get the channel. So they're going to try now. Nobody has fallen in this encounter for a while now. With Chromie buying a bit more time, Danazovsky has to reposition, but they're going to get it. The red team has now moved away and has basically started to say, okay, we give up on this one at least. You're going to take it, and we'll fight for the next one. So 36 to 32 on the points. 5 minutes into the game, and level 8 advantage for what it's worth. Actually, not anymore. Both teams on level 8. As we are heading into the next phase. So 10 soon kicking up too. Level 1 nearly completed. Redemption for Hanzo. And we get in then with the sharpened arrowheads on... Do you actually have to tell that somebody that they need to sharpen their arrowheads? I mean, seriously, if you're trying to use it in battle... If Hanzo... Like, real talk here. If you have to be told to sharpen your arrowheads when you are going into battle, then I don't even know what to tell you. You were always a little twat, but that is just ridiculous. It's like a reminder. I should write this, tattoo it on his arm or something. Sharpen the arrowheads before going into battle. The Hawkeye of the Storm. Hawkeye isn't a real hero in the Avengers, and, well, Hanzo isn't a real hero in the game either, if you ask me. At least he's one of the most despised ones. So, yeah. Sharpen them as best as you can. 10 is in. Gives us the big arrow once again. A dragon's arrow. We're also getting Gorge. And Stitches. Yeah, I was trying to go for Chromie here, but obviously it doesn't have the range increase yet. So that was them just hoping. Same time now, the bunny hop for D.Va. Bunny hop is actually something that I kind of like. Because it's just so silly. So yeah, bunny hopping is always kind of fun. Now, we get again Judgment. Mopsio wants to be aggressive. Mopsio wants to go full Superman, charge into battle, lead the troops, and then take him out. But it's the altars that are back up on the map, and they're already going for 5v5 in the middle. Nobody even moving down to the bottom of the map to try and secretly sneak in. Bunny up in the back line. Judgment. They wanted Malfurion, and they couldn't get him. Gorge is out. Where did that arrow go? I mean, dude, what on earth? Oof. That arrow is just gone. So is Chromie and also Tracer. Tracer was the first one to fall. And that's a double channel for them. So they're getting the full shots here. Down at the bottom of the map. There we have it. Bam. 4 more shots fired and 24 to 36 right now. And all of a sudden, there is even more momentum for them. We talked in the early game a bit about all of the kills they were able to lock in for themselves. But now that they got the double altar and also all of those kills, they can, with the help of the minion wave that they're getting here, put even more pressure onto that bell tower. They're not able to grab it right away. Death timers are low. The enjoyers came back and made their play here. And that's that. So all the way up at the top, that's where we have our next little move being made too. In the middle. And over here on the bot lane, obviously the pumpkins are now in. So, also by the way, now corrected the overlay. I talked about it in the games obviously earlier, but DDX is in the lead, so this one didn't adjust. Apparently it didn't hit the save button, or it didn't work this time, don't know. Let's blame me. Let's blame the Germans. That's always a safe bet. So, Shizakit is maybe dead again. Oh, yeah, no, he's still dead. Okay, so they unleashed all of the ults essentially to get that kill. Now they get another hook and they also drop Lucio. I love the way that they dealt with Tracer here and still got the kill even after the recall attempt. But then getting Lucio on top of it, that was pretty sweet. So now they have 2 down and they can again push for that bottom bell tower, which they really want. That 13 range increase was absolutely gold in that situation. The bell tower is taken, and we have Lucio coming back in a moment. So then they are with 5 back on the map and could, I guess, still make a play for that altar. It's a single altar after all, but already some pressure at least on Mopsio. And Malfurion has started the channel and nobody is really dealing with him. Tracer was thinking about moving down there for a moment, but she saw how many heroes were already running to intercept her. And yeah, they just let the 5 shots go, which now puts them down to 19. We have level 13 up as well. And of course, top side, still D.Va holding her own. We have, in regards to damage, Genji on 26,000. He's the top damage dealer in the game. Followed actually by Hanzo with 21k. Only then do we have Tracer for the red team with 21,000. So, yeah, things are going really well for DDX. 9 kills to 5. On top of that, only hero that hasn't died yet for the blue team is Genji, by the way. Blaze for their opponents. Yeah, and all of the camps are slowly being gobbled up by DDX, which is already reflected in mercenary experience a little bit, but that could get extended. Judgment again, and the defense matrix is being used to save Malfurion, and he makes it. Malfurion, no, Tracer and Blaze get the kill, but they went deep, they went too deep. Oh my god, really? The explosion is not taking anybody out, but zones Blaze to the top, and that results in him getting killed. So they're trading kills, but it's just insane that the red team didn't lose more heroes here. Wow. Look at the minion experience, by the way, as we're talking about comparing these two a little bit. Minion experience is where DDX is doing much, much better. Nice kill, though, from Tracer. Very nice. That's exactly what they need here. Kills like that. 16 talents were just ready for DDX, and now they lose one of their heroes as the altar comes up. So this is a big chance for the enjoyers to start a small comeback, especially since they're taking down Stitches too. So that's big. Genji at the bottom of the map, he's just like, guys, really? That was pretty bad timing for DDX. That was amazing timing for the blue team, for the red team. The only thing that they don't have is enough bell towers to make this really worth it. They still get 6 shots fired, which is nice, but that only puts it to 30 to 19 points on the core. But of course, they would have absolutely loved to get a bit more out of this. They are trying to get now something done here up at the top. Arrow! And Malfurion gets attacked. That's the root on the ground. D.Va's coming in too, trying to save that bell tower, and they actually do. That arrow might actually just have saved Danazovsky. Dead inside, didn't hesitate. Threw that out immediately. Down at the bottom of the map, Zugzi is at the minimum able to retake the bell tower. Now it's 4 versus 4 again. Only half a level lead for DDX is left. So they suffered really after what happened earlier here. So, a problem. I mean, at this point, What we're getting is potentially a fight. Oh, I don't think they're gonna invade here. They're not fighting for the pumpkins. But they could also still try to push for the bot lane again. And obviously you're playing around the hooks of Stitches now even more so than before. Well, and as I say it, there it is. But they need to instantly stun him out here. And they try and do. And it's a kill. Mopsio is gone. Mopsio is gone. And now maybe a chance to get another hook connected. But they dodge. They are low with Tracer though. And there's the arrow from Hanzo. But they couldn't follow up on it fast enough. Still, Mopsio died 3 times now. Chromie finally completes the quest. And now we have the triple altar phase up. The timing is just working out for DDX. So they should get a double channel again. I don't think they can get 3. Unless they really, really fight for it. But they should be able to at least lock in 2. Lucio, no! Lucio is low, and if Genji gets close to him, he's also dead. The exchange has also happened, and they are fighting for that altar at the bottom. But Richo in trouble. Blaze gets hooked, and somehow makes it out again. Boy, the red team is really... This is a very, very thin edge that they're currently walking here. They let the altar go, but boy oh boy, that was first Lucio that was basically dead, and then afterwards we had Blaze in trouble. Now the core is down to 11 points, but boah, that is quite the game here. 11-7. The problem for the blue team is obviously that this is still Towers of Doom. I mean, this is the most comeback heavy map that we ever had in the map pool. So late game control is everything here. We try to go for Shizakid again. That arrow wasn't really meant to go anywhere. That was a defensive arrow, if anything. Rumor has it, it's still flying. But, yeah. They tried to save ETC. If everybody jumped onto the gates and tried to collapse on ETC to take... Stitches. To take Stitches down, then the arrow would have connected and they would have gotten the kill there. But this way, wasn't really the case. So, as it stands, we have half a level until 20. That's a nice thing for DDX, that they have been taking a comfortable lead once again. Level 20 that could help them to retake a bell tower. But they also have to make sure that they're defending their top bell tower, because, yep, there's more pumpkins coming, and this one is already a bit low. So you really gotta pick your battles here. Virgil on D.Va is, by the way, sitting right now at 31,000 damage, so it's not really bad. Decent damage output here on the side lane. Had a nice impact on the game too. So Virgil once again showcasing why his D.Va is oftentimes banned. By the way, that bell tower getting converted over makes things now a bit awkward. Because you're about to hit your level 20, but even if you get the altar, it's only 3 fired. Now that puts them down to 8 if the enjoyers eat those shots up. That's 2 altars, boss as well. So it's not too bad from a math perspective. But of course you would like to have that bell tower back. And yeah, they realize that the opponent isn't even trying to fight, so with them being this close to Storm Talons, they're not delaying anything anymore. They're instantly making their move. They fire the 3 shots and now they're going to get the bell tower. And basically the enjoyers are going to let it happen. They're not going to do too much here. 20 is now ready. You don't want to fight against that if you have any opportunity to not do that. And that bell tower will be taken eventually, at least so I thought. There's the Gorge. Explosion to create space. Judgment. And he's still on the wrong side of the wall. Arrow misses, but they're not missing Blaze. Blaze goes down. Blaze is dead. Level 20 on both sides now. But they were able to get that kill. So now the question. Do they go for control on the bell towers? Do they go for the boss? Bell tower control will probably work much better for them. Oh, they get another hook. And Chromie is gone. And now with Hanzo dead, it's still a 4 versus 3. They're trying more. They're trying for Mopsio. He actually got the armor from the bell tower, and therefore it was pretty difficult to drop him in hit points. So that's one of the few times where I've actually seen that mechanic have a proper impact. They were actually targeting Mopsio, and then it just didn't work out. Now we have Shizakid in a bit of trouble, and he's gonna die. And D.Va and Malfurion are also dead, and so is Genji. It's a full 5-man wipe. What? Tracer ripped them apart together with Tyrael, and all of a sudden it is Towers of Doom as usual. They are getting a massive, massive team kill. And now the question is, how far can they go with it? How much control can they get? Keep in mind, they have already 5 bell towers. They got 5 bell towers already. And they want to get more. They want to start the barrage here. And there is absolutely no reason to believe that they can't pull that off. So this might actually be where they could end the game here. Arrow, again, on the way. Was trying to stop them, to slow them down. And Hanzo is moving towards the top instead. But the barrage is starting. And then they're going to start the channel. Guys, this is going to be... oh my god, that's 14 shots fired. Just from those 2 altars alone. And then the barrage started. I mean, look at this. Bam. What an assault right now. Shot after shot. Down to 11 points. 10 points. This might be game. If they're defending in the middle, this actually might be game. They have to retake this immediately. And they're trying to. But if they can just be slowed down, then it's all over. 8 to 8 points on the core. Stitches is getting sucked back in. And he's dead. If they do not take that bell tower back, it's over. The core is down to 6 points. D.Va about to go down. Pilot is still alive. Genji is gone. And that's just game. That's game. That's just it. Either way, even if the bell tower gets taken, the Enjoyers have won it. They could go for the boss in a second if they needed to. And that is another 5-man team wipe. Huge turnaround. Enjoyers with a massive turnaround. And a victory on Towers of Doom as they tie up the series. GG. Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. We're going to Alterac, game number 3. Huge comeback on the second map. I mean, Towers of Doom, honestly, I mean, insane. Now, it's a little bit easy to say, like, oh, one single fight and then all of a sudden they turn it. But let's not forget that they already had 5 bell towers. The Enjoyers, this is a late game heavy map. It always was. And the Enjoyers already had the upper hand when it came to bell towers. So it made it easier for them to get the full control by taking the remaining 2. And for DDX, it was just an utter disaster. They lost the entire team there. Way too much. Death time was high enough that it was impossible to stop the red team from getting those altars and the bell towers, of course. And yeah, the timing was absolutely perfect. So for the Enjoyers, that was a huge break, and now the series is tied. Obviously, they have to now show that they can not only win a game like that, but also take the lead in all of this. This is the best of 5 after all, so we have a potential 3 maps remaining. There are no draft restrictions here, so the same heroes can be played again. Tyrell actually gets banned against Mopsio. So they do not want to deal with these sniper ideas again, because we've seen that a lot, that Tyrell, I mean, he simply jumped in with Judgment on Malfurion a lot. I mean, it was one of the prime targets, and they were trying to get the kills here. Didn't quite work out most of the time, but they were still able to pull it off a few times, and more than enough that the blue team is now saying, maybe we don't want to deal with this. Blaze is the first pick. So Blaze is the first thing that gets taken. Again, still one of the best, if not the best side laner. And for the Enjoyers, that's obviously now the next question. What is Mopsio going to play, for example? Chromie again for Zagzi and Leoric. I said it in game number 2 already. Zagzi is going to pick Chromie every single time it can. Every single time. So, if they want to... They could ban it out. But if there is a chance for Zagzi to pick Chromie, he's going to do exactly that. So if they want to remove that, then they will have to sacrifice one of their bans. And I honestly think that they're probably just saying, like, hey, we'll deal with it. One way or another. Leo for the slows, for the minion wave control. Also for the Entomb. Then we get Muradin, we get Anduin. So you have your light bomb engage already, if you want. On Muradin. Could also drop a couple of other heroes in here. I mean, we still have the Genji Anduin combo as a potential. Unless Genji is now either getting banned or picked. But setting things up for Alderac. Mopsio could also go into an Uberak. We talked about that. Last time that I actually mentioned that a Uberak could now be used to not only distract the grunts or the orcs as you're trying to go for the prisoner camp on Alderac Pass for the objective. You can now also use it to dive onto forts and keeps and just assault the heroes that are there while spawning a couple of beetles to soak up the shots. What we got instead was a Gazlowe pick, and they did the same thing with turrets. So I suppose that's possible. I don't think that we're really going to see it here. Tracer gets banned. Totally understandable. So you can see that DDX is very much so reacting to what happened in the previous game and is banning heroes very specifically that they don't wanna deal with here. Now that brings us to the Enjoyers with the next 2 picks here. Suppose we're gonna get a pick for Mopsio now as well, but yeah. Is it gonna be an Uberak pick? Or Zeratul first. Alright, Zeratul Uther. So they're leaving the tank pick for last, assuming that it's not going to be an Uther main tank. Which we have seen in Group B. That's where teams actually try to play around the double support again a bit. Alright. Final 2 for DDX. I mean, you haven't seen any damage here yet either. Falstad if you want to go global, but then you pick Falstad into Zeratul. There's Jaina, and we get Sylvanas. A hero that I'm very surprised hasn't been played more in the patch so far. So, they go for Jaina for the burst damage, Sylvanas for potential side lane pushing too. And that leaves us with Mopsio as the final pick. Now, they could move Uther into a main tank role. And put in a second support. They could do that. Does that really make a whole lot of sense here? Nah. So, Mopsio still has to make a choice. Goes up against Muradin, and he goes for ETC again, same that they used in game number 1 on Infernal Shrine. So let's see if it works out a little bit better for them this time. Our third game in the best of 5 series, ladies and gentlemen. Alderac Pass, the Enjoyers against DDX. Game on! DDX over on the left in blue with Muradin played by Shizakit. We got Sylvanas again by Papa Smurf. Danozovsky on Anduin, Virgil is playing Blaze, and Dead Inside is playing Jaina. To the right side, the Enjoyers with Zeratul. Arion and Zeratul is actually quite a lot of fun, so I expect big things here. Shadowhunter as a level 1 talent, we got Briss on Uther, Zugzi on Chromie for the 3rd time in a row. Richu is playing Leoric, and Mopsio on ETC. So, yeah, Zeratul is going to aim, of course, for the girls over here. For Sylvanas, Jaina, and Anduin. Those are the 3 that he has the best chance to take down. And once that we have the mobility and also Might of the Narazim, I think all 3 of them are going to be on the menu and will continuously be poked and prodded for weaknesses in the defense to try and see if they can take him out. Now, with a little skirmish in the middle over within a second, everybody is now starting to rotate towards the lanes here. Mopsio has already taken quite a lot of damage and has to be careful. But again, they're all just like setting up on the lanes here. And ETC now in the mid lane for just a moment. The camp is up and the teams are going for it. Obviously, camp timer has been reduced. Well, the spawn point, the first one, has been removed. Or reduced. It's now at 30 seconds instead of at the 1 minute mark. So it makes these plays for camps just a little bit faster in the game itself. Now at the bottom of the map though, Danozovsky all alone. Anduin, just throwing light around and thinks he can defeat darkness with it. Darkness in the terms of Leoric. And Leo, well, he has only one thing to say.
Say hello to your sister for me.
Does Anduin have a sister? I mean, Anduin might have a sister. So yeah, maybe Varian had 2 girls. Who knows? So, top side, let's say we have Virgil against Zeratul now. And in the middle of the... It's started to slow down a little bit. They went for their own camps, but nobody's really making any big plays. Neither being a gank rotation where you're trying to get a kill nor anything else. It's just really about maintaining minion experience for now. So they're still waiting this out a bit until they're having, I suppose, some action going on. But there's the jump. The slide is a little bit too late, and they got at least some damage in. I guess this was the first real aggressive rotation that we've now seen from the red team. They've obviously seen that Sylvanas push and immediately we're like, yeah, well, maybe we should take care of that. This is something that will be done throughout the game, I guess. at least with now the Inspire mechanic on minions that you push with kicking in, you can theoretically do even more damage with a side lane Sylvanas than previously. And yeah, why not? This is actually why I expected Sylvanas to be taken more and not necessarily less. Because at this point you find yourself in a slot when if your opponent doesn't properly react to this, you will get massive amounts of damage. So if Sylvanas just sneaks on the lane, pushes in with 1 or 2 minion waves, you are going to get big value out of it. Dead inside. Nearly baiting Mopsio into a slide with Muradin just coming up behind him. But yeah, Sylvanas is sitting at the top. Leo is now moving in, and this is exactly what I talked about. Even those few little seconds that you have there can help. You make that a few times, and you find yourself in a good spot. Middle of the map though, Mopsio gets attacked again. So far, I think his tilt factor is not too big, because they won the second map. But I can already tell you, if they would have lost that second map the way that it was headed, essentially, I think Game 3 would have been potentially a short one. If Mopsio is tilted, then things usually fall apart for the opponent. Talking about falling apart, Muradin's hit point pool heavily fell apart here, and who completely fell apart is Zeratul at the bottom of the map. Yeah, Zeratul going up against Jaina. Turns out that wasn't a great idea. The Frost Queen came in and dropped him. So, that is Zeratul gone as first blood of the game. Sylvana still attempting to push a little bit here, as they're now making a move for ET. See ya! Bye-bye, Mopsio.
And we say bye-bye!
So he's gone, and it is Uth that is trying to move down to the bottom of the map to attempt and take at least the experience for them, but that gives a lead on the objective to DDX. Yeah, ATC isn't even back yet. That's going to be a very nice advantage for the blue team. Not sure if they're going to get the entire thing. Maybe not. Currently, if you look at the minimap, there's not a lot of rotational play going on to try and stop this from happening. I guess they just let it slide. Alright, I actually thought they would fight for this. But nope. And as I say it, well, there they are. Could maybe try to go for another quick interrupt, but it's 5 seconds that we're talking about right now, so they retook that. The fight, on the other hand, this turns against the blue team. Muradin gets saved. Leo with the drain. And Virgil gets out. So the objective is still up for grabs. They didn't give the entire thing up. And all the way in the mid lane, we're now looking at, yeah. Well, actually, Muradin got caught by Zeratul and taken out. In the mid lane, they were just defending against the push here. So now we have a kill for a kill. Both teams on level 9. Over there, the blue team is now starting to experience the same thing. The pressure from the objective being channeled by the opponent. Mopsio is the one that is guarding it together with the Zeratul. Muradin is now back. But Sylvanas is all the way at the top and is not going for it at all. Finally rotating slowly down. But I think this might be a bit too late. Jaina is trying to get the kill. They have the early level 10. Anduin is channeling, interrupting, and they lock it out. But it's 10 versus 10 now. Might of the Nerazim is in. This is where it gets interesting with Arian and his pick. Jet Propulsion again, trying to zone them out here. Zaxi split from the team. Could drive a wedge between them. Mosh Pit! And Sylvanas is gone. Nice. Sylvanas gone, and they might get more. Uther with the final hit, but a great mosh from Mopsio. The holy cow, as he's getting his divine shield as well. No. And they get another kill. But they lose Zeratul in the process. They can follow it up with Anduin though. And that's the 3-1 trade and will give them the first objective of the game. Nice. All turned by that mosh pit that we got there. Nicely done. Yep. Mosh pit. Sealed the deal. Mopsio. Talking about sealing the deal. If he doesn't get his cooldown back, he's dead. And dead it is. No cooldown ready, no power slide. So Mopsio is gone, and that is happening just as the objective comes in. So 5 versus 4. Gonna make the defense a little bit easier. Let's see if that works out. We got down at the bottom of the map. Arion making his play. Ice block. Dead inside is also dead on the outside. Yeah, that's a kill right there. Completed the quest though. Yeah, nice. But of course, this is not really how you want to start the defense, so very annoying. You must have been happy when they killed ETC, and then this happens, and you're just looking at the game and you're just like, ah! They're gonna lose a lot. Sylvanas defending in the middle, but this push at the bottom of the map. Minions inspired by the auto attacks on structures. Then you have the Raider itself, so likely the first 4 to fall if they are aggressive about it. And yeah, this is gonna be it. So nicely done. First objective, and you get 1 fort and some damage at the top fort too. Leading experience. For the enjoyers, this is nice. They're gonna be pretty happy with this. We got more stacks slowly coming in. Damage output on 16,000 now for Leoric. 23,000 for Jaina. But Jaina died. Leo hasn't activated his trait yet. Not unleashing his full potential. Yeah, trade is still missing. What a noob. So, level 13 is now up. And... yeah, there's the slide and the mosh pit. But he only gets 1 this time, and it's Muradin, so they can't kill him. Instead, the Divine Shield needs to be used to save ETC. The idea was a good one, I gotta say. Like, if that mosh connects a bit differently, then we have a totally different fight on our hands. But now Jaina goes down. Again, it's Zeratul that jumps in and dishes out the damage and tries to get those final hits in, but ETC died as well. Now they killed Leoric too. Well, pardon me, he activated his trait, intentionally of course. Unleashing the full potential of the hero here. 6 kills to 6 and we're only 9 minutes in, so they are really, really trying to take that lead, both of them. Massive aggression on both sides, with the mid lane now getting once again focused. Shizakit! Okay, jumps out. Able to survive. Fight another day as the red team keeps pushing, and ETC is now back too. For DDX it really comes down to team fights right now. The next objective is popping up. We're 10 minutes in. Down at the bottom of the map, yeah, we got Jaina still sitting tight. And we'll just deal with the minion race here. This is a problem for Jaina. If she moves too far out onto the lanes, Zeratul is going to wreck her. That's why she's playing it the way that she currently does here. Save it, slow it down, and just make sure that you get it just in front of the wall. But don't expose yourself to any potential attacks that you could run into from Zeratul in particular. This is the one thing that you're trying to avoid in that situation. Leo now also sitting tight over here. Yep. And let's see if they can maybe... I mean, they're both just going for the camps right now, but if anybody would have a chance to try and get themselves another kill, then it would probably be Zeratul attempting to tee things off here. Haven't really seen that too much yet. Top side though, actually talking about Zeratul is now going up against Blaze at the bottom of the map. Up at the top they're going for that side lane push again. Over here in the middle. Yeah, next little aggression. That's gonna... I mean, everybody's just like trying to lay some traps now. Sylvanas at the top. Slow down a bit. Everybody just wants to go for that kill. Level 16 talents are another thing that they're essentially waiting for. And ETC and Mopsio is always attempting to get another mosh pit connected for the team here. Now that both teams have level 16 talents, they are both ready to fight. They're trying to go for Mopsio. Nice. Numbing Blast connects. Light Bomb didn't though. The drain on Muradin, who's mega slowed by Chromie specifically. And when we're looking at the experience gains, minion XP, still fairly similar here too. I have to admit that, at least on this level of play, after the patch changes and with the experience globes, the teams adjusted to it very well and very quickly. There were no real problems where teams were all of a sudden falling multiple levels behind because they didn't really play out the macro game. Uther dead, but still can ghost around a bit. So most of the team is very diligent about still picking the remaining globes up, and it hasn't really affected them too much here. So by now we have also the attack on Leoki, and he's gone as well. But Blaze falls on the other side. It's that continuous kill for a kill mentality that we have here. They're just all getting massively aggressive, and it just leads to victims on both sides that fall. But it is the blue team that is pulling slightly ahead on the objective. So they're going to try and win the second one. Zoning Stormbolt for Shizakit. not connecting with ETC, as Jaina had to retreat too, top of her mana pool a little bit. You still have Zeratul around, so they know that fully well. And Anduin, I mean, Danazovsky just got caught while he was walking down towards the lane and got killed. Cosplaying Anduin to perfection here, I gotta say. I mean, that boy is lost on so many levels, so yeah. Every meaning of the word, that guy is just lost. And in this case, he was lost in time and space too. So Anduin goes down. Just got... It was a free kill, essentially. Zeratul just had him right there, and then the rest of the team followed up. So now they want to go for a Chromie counter. And... Yep. That's... Oh, that's a Divine Shield. Nice. Oh, Uther! Uther the mosh pit! And Uther's still dead, and so is Chromie. Even with the mosh pit from Mopsio, they aren't able to do anything here. Uther tries to keep him alive. But, spoiler alert, not gonna happen. He's gonna fall. ETC is dead too. So that's way too many heroes that have just now fallen on the side of the red team. The Enjoyers struggling there. And the objective is gonna reflect that in a moment. So yeah, big fight there. Uther, Chromie first out, and then Mopsio, he also gets murdered. And that, of course, with 11 kills to 9, is now putting the blue team in the driver's seat, especially on the objective, which they are going to get, and then we'll see how much damage they can do on structures. Yeah, that's going to be the bigger one. ETC is still going to be down for another 18, but he's going to be on the lane in time. A little bit more experience to grab down here at the bottom of the map. Zeratul is already moving away, not a problem. If anything, Jaina has to be careful. Leading experience now there. ETC is of course back. But this is the big one. This is where you can really take advantage of Sylvanas as well. If she doesn't get heavily attacked by, let's say, Zeratul the second she pops her head out on one of the lanes. And Zeratul is going to look for that side lane push, of course. So now they are all going through the middle. Meridian is already here. Blaze is down at the bottom of the map. And top side, that's where Sylvanas is now doing a thing. And somebody will have to react to it. Somebody has to react to this. Because this is just too much damage and too quickly. With a new Inspire push on top of Sylvanas already disabling structures, you gotta be careful there. It's actually wild that nobody pushed the top lane. I thought they would just push that through. Uther drawn, ETC gone. Even without Sylvanas and Anduin, they're absolutely destroying the team at the bottom of the map. Zeratul also highly unlucky. Runs straight into Sylvanas and gets killed a second later. Total disaster now for the red team. I mean, this couldn't get any worse for them. They're losing way too many heroes here. And the push at the top is still ongoing. Sylvanas didn't even have to move down to the bottom of the map. She could have honestly just have pushed for the top side keep and she would have actually gotten it. That wall is already opened up. They're pushing at the bottom of the map now. And why wouldn't they? There's only 2 defenders, and they have to defend the top lane first. So they're breaking the wall here, and they're gonna get some... Not too much, but they're gonna get some damage on the keep. Then again, they might actually get the entire thing. That's 10 seconds for Uther, 11 for ETC. So they're gonna get the first keep of the game. That's 1 armor shield removed from the core. And maybe they can even get that fort. That's probably stretching it. Zeratul is back in 5 seconds, so yeah, that would be asking for too much. But boy, DDX is now massively ahead. That was huge. Them winning those fights and then just like teeing it all up. The objective before, it was all working together for them. And to be fair, this is essentially what happened from the perspective of the Enjoyers on Towers of Doom. Where Shizakid sometimes throws out storm bolts where I just don't understand where they're supposed to go. I mean, that you predict where your opponent goes makes perfect sense, and sometimes that results in a zoning storm bolt or another. But in this case, there wasn't even a chance for him to move over to the left. That path was fully blocked. I mean, where was that storm bolt gonna go? So, yeah, this one didn't do anything. They're trying to go for the boss still. The longer they pin them down at the top lane, by the way, the more this is going to do damage. And there's also a big push at the bottom of the map. So trying to stall for time is actually beneficial to DDX. So if they're just centering everything here around the boss, this could help them. Level 20 Entomb gets used. Andren is immediately ready for it. ETC, well, he has his blink. Didn't do anything here. Interrupt instantly from the light bomb. He jumped into the light bomb stun and then got murdered. Huge misstep here by ETC. Unfortunate for Mopsio. Didn't see it, and now they're losing Leo, they're losing Chromie, and they're losing Uther. Uther has redemption, but still, he's gone, and now they're going for game. But check this out. Mosh Pit lines up. Look at the light bomb. Light bomb on Muradin now, and then he jumps basically into that and gets insta-interrupted. Super unfortunate for Mopsio. That really, really hurt. And now, of course, you have the insta-push for the core with 2 of the armor shields already gone. There's only 2 defenders here. There's no way they're saving this. DDX pulls ahead in the series with a 2-1. Sylvanas, well, Sylvanas falls. Uther's dead. Great job by Zeratul, but it's just not happening. Leo is back in 2 seconds. But, damn. That is taking way longer than expected. But either way, they claim it. DDX with a 2-1 lead against the Enjoyers. Nicely done with a win on Aldrich Pass. DDX with the lead. 2-1. Cursed Hollow, our 4th map. And therefore also the chance to end the series now. It was actually getting a little bit interesting towards the end, because that was the first time I think that we had all direct pass like this in the new patch. And previously, when you had the 2 armor shields removed and there was only 1 left, you could defeat the core very quickly. Right now, I suppose it takes a little bit longer, simply because we have the extra 12.5% hit points or health on structures. So it took a bit longer to take that core down than I expected. And for just a tiny moment, I was looking at this and I was like, wait a second. Is Zeratul actually going to be able to do something here? Because he killed Sylvanas. But yeah, it was just a bit too much. It was well executed by DDX. They had a fantastic push going on there. Won the game. And are probably now a bit salty about their performance on Towers of Doom. I know I would be. Because again, that's where they lost. That's where the Enjoyers got their 1 point from. And I have to imagine that if in the late game you don't die at the bot lane the way that they did and lose the entire team, then you might be able to get somewhere. So, yeah, we'll see. By now we have bans on Tyrael and on good old Blaze. So that's pretty much what they were playing the entire time so far. At the same time, Chen is also getting eliminated, and the same is true for Maiev. I guess we are going to get Chromie again for the Enjoyers. At least that was the pattern so far the entire time. So right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Chromie for Zaxi again. It seems to be a bit, not quite a one-trick pony situation, but where he has a very, very strong preference for that particular pick. Now, D.Va and Rhaegar, Virgil again on this one. And yeah, I mean, like with Virgil on D.Va, for Cursed Hollow, they have a lot of applications for the bomb around bosses that they can use. I mean, even creating a little bit of space and time for themselves around a curse tribute that they're trying to channel would already work. Junkrat obviously has been banned out previously quite a few times. Now he gets picked. So, yeah. They didn't ban out Chromie, but they also didn't ban Junkrat, so Zaxi instead goes for Junkrat right away. Might be the one game where we don't have to deal with Chromie. And over on the blue team side, what are they going to ban now? They still have... Okay, they're banning Globals. They have the Haka against them. They don't want to go up against the Haka and Falstad at the same time. So with that, we now have 1 Global at least eliminated. I suppose they could have picked that too. If they wanted to pick Falstad, they could have done that here, but from the looks of it, they're totally fine playing this without a global. They're not going to lock Brightwing in either, now that we have Rhaegar already taken. I'm still waiting for my first Vikings game in the new patch, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't mind if all of a sudden they would be like, you know what, why don't we play the Vikings here? So we have Shizakit picking up next. Obviously, Arian is also a little bit of a wild pick. Similar position as we often seen from Ultralisk and a couple of others. So if the red team is now deciding to throw out another Zeratul or something of the sort, some melee assassin that could help them here, it would be kind of sweet. We get Uther and Sylvanas. So main tank Uther plus Rhaegar, meaning we get our double support. Sylvanas for damage, D.Va at the front line too. It's a lot of sustain for them. And immediately leads to the question what the final pick is going to be. That inside played a lot of Genji. I guess technically you could still go Genji. Could even go for the Dragon Blade and then combo that off with Uther. But for the red team, first and foremost, we're gonna get Ana and Mephisto. Okay. Nano boosted Mephisto at this point. Yeah. Leading us to the final pick. Genji or no Genji? Divine Shield on Genji, or are they going to play something completely different with that inside? Could go for triple melee if they pick somebody with an oomph. But they can end the game here. They can end the series here. They can move on to the next round of the winner bracket. Or we are going the distance in this one as well. Greymane is the choice. Also a very cool recipient for a Divine Shield. And with that, we're good to go. Cursed Hollow, everybody. Map number 4. First match point between DDX and the Enjoyers.
Prepare yourself for battle.
Game number 4. It's match point. DDX in blue over on the left with Shizakid on Uther. We got Papa Smurf. It was listed on the team. I have no idea how to read this, and somebody translated it. It doesn't mean Papa Smurf, but again, Sylvanas' name is it's probably a Smurf account. So either way, Sylvanas is played by the blue team too. We got Virgil on D.Va, Dead Inside on Greymane, and then Danazovsky on Rega. Over on the right side of the map, it's the Enjoyers with Zugzi on Junkrat this time. First time that we don't see him on Chromie. Briss is playing Ana, we got Mopsio on Muradin, Richu on Dehaka, and Arian is playing Mephisto. So, this is gonna be interesting, because we have another big map with Sylvanas played once more, so the side lane pushes could occur again. These guys are already in position for the 30-second mercenary camp spawn. That was accelerated in the last patch, and they're apparently eager to take advantage of this, so they're already right here. Bot lane, Shizakid. Careful, my friend. They play a double support here. You still got to be careful with this. Lots of sustain for the team right now. So that could lead to some very interesting strategies from them. Red team also, bit low. And Arian with a quick pause right there. So Mopsio's in play. Seems like nobody has actually dropped out of the game. And actually I'm wrong. Ana. Okay, so we have a drop here. Hopefully, we are going to see her rejoin soon. It's early on in the game. I mean, worst case scenario would be we have to restart it. But I'm confident that in just a couple of seconds, we're going to have everybody back in and can continue with it. Ana back to business. Everything good. And, well, as I said, the worst case would have been that we would have left, restarted the lobby. Now we're good. Nobody died 1 minute in, not even, so yeah. But we are getting some very aggressive early game plays from them. I mean, for sure. So, Zugzi is jumping out. Shizakid was a little bit low here. Mopsio still wants to see if he can make a play here. But down at the bottom of the map, they were also pushing this. And during all of that, it's still D.Va against Dehaka up at the top lane. So teams are getting very aggressive. The one thing that is really working in favor of DDX though is that camp that they took super early in the game, because now they can use that in the mid lane to try and get themselves some value. As down at the bottom, Ana is getting attacked, and thanks to the sleep dart that she YOLO'd out against Greymane, she still made it. But this is value right there. You have the inspired minions, you have the mercenary camp, and then you have Sylvanas pushing. So this is an easy wall that gets destroyed super early in the game, just 2 minutes in. Muradin also barely getting out of the fight as Shizakid was trying to chase him down. Wasn't quite able to get him, but it will force Muradin back for a while to activate his trait and let that kick in. Down at the bottom of the map in the meantime, we still have the attack against Ana and Mephisto. Sylvanas is of course now going to try and repeat the exercise on the mid lane down here at the top to drop another wall. They are starting to pull structurally just slightly ahead. But as far as early games go, that's pretty solid. Now, for DDX, they... Oh my god, Zugzi! That was nearly the end of Junkrat. So, Richu is taking over, but that also means that 2 heroes are currently missing on lane. It instantly puts Sylvanas and Uther into a good spot down at the bottom of the map with the mercenary... Sorry, not with the mercenary, the minion wave that they just put in. So they can take another tower down. Top side is pretty similar with the siege giant camp that got escorted by DDX, and they're taking wall after wall down. I mean, there's the explosion now too. Muradin is able to get away, but it blows up the minion wave and allows them to push now even more aggressively for the structure. So this is starting to become, honestly, dicey as hell. It's a 3-man. They're diving hard. The lick on Greymane is great, but D.Va reacted instantly, and now they're still chasing Richu. Muradin is also there, and as long as the fort has something to fire on, it's not going to target the heroes here. That's one of the changes of the new patch, and they're abusing this perfectly. Rhaegar goes down, but mainly because they were sticking it out on the top lane long enough to get that fort. So now everybody is moving back out, and yeah, they lose Greymane too, so both of the doggies are dead, but still, might be 2 kills to 0, but it's the first fort destroyed, and this is gonna pay dividends as all of this continues. I mean, the passive experience increase alone is gonna help throughout the game, as long as the enjoyers aren't able to repay the blue team in kind now. First tribute at the bottom of the map being fought over. 12,000 damage for Sylvanas already, and, well, Arian is gonna grab this one, so they're gonna get it. Mid lane attack against Richu. He's still fine here, but yeah, he's been pressured a lot. Not only at the top lane, also down at the bottom. But this is all working quite nicely for DDX. Again, slightly behind right now because of these kills. More so than anything else, as you can see here. Also a slight change in minion experience. Still the kill. Nah! Ana makes it out of that fight. And sometimes I'm just looking at the hit points of these guys and I'm just like, how is that even possible? D.Va wasn't here for all of that though. So she was at the top lane and has caught the team up in experience a bit. Next spawn is happening on the tributes. A little bit more advantageous for the enjoyers, so likely the blue team will let that one go. They're trying to get the camp. Sylvanas, nice little move by the Haka again, buying more time. Activating also the armor from the structure, the new mechanic kicking in. But they're losing too much ground here. He needs assistance. Alone, he's not going to be able to stop this. There's now 1.5 minion waves, basically. And Sylvanas can also shut this down completely. Armor kicks in for the Haka again, but look how low this fort is. So this is a massive problem. Shizakid is trying to get away, gets licked up, and the second support says hello and saves Uther. Double support combo, massive sustain for them, and it keeps working. They're keeping Greymane alive too. D.Va is pushing the middle. Well, kind of jinxed it here. Greymane goes down. Danazovsky might still be able to squeeze past, and he gets killed as well. D.Va, though, she is still doing damage in the middle. And the red team is now ahead with level 10. So on the experience side, they're actually doing pretty okay. The problem is really structures. Structures is where they're suffering. Ult of Mephisto is missing. This is, on the other hand, where things are now going to get very spicy for DDX, because they have to get this one. If they don't get this one, then it's a curse against them, and then everything that they've been fighting for is essentially being nullified. With a double support... War. Really? Okay. Never ever. With a double support, they're going for Bloodlust here. So, no Ancestral plus Divine Shield, only one of the panic buttons. Greymane! Bloodlust already used. They're trying to go for Mephisto. And Rhaegar is a bit low here. Lots of sustain from the team though. Ana gets zoned away. Sylvanas dies. And then Mephisto goes down the drain as well. Rhaegar is on the run. Escapes. They have both of the supports still alive and can now try and tag team Richu. He still pops the essence, so it's totally fine here. And they're starting the channel with Rhaegar, and they definitely should. I mean, this is the perfect opportunity to get themselves the to get themselves the tribute, and then they lose Uther. Even with the double support, that was not a thing. Dead inside, it jumps around, activates the boss for a second. Sylvanas is now back, and Ana, is she completing it? Yes, she does. That's a curse. Yeah, the enjoyers, they get the curse. So I liked what the blue team was doing initially, because they were focusing a bit more on the macro end and they were pushing for structures very heavily. But if you want to do this successfully, you need to also make sure your opponent doesn't get the easiest curse or a mega fast curse here. It's 7 kills to 1, and that's against a team that runs a double support for added sustain. And they will likely lose some structures here now. And that's the problem. So if they can somehow get stopped, then it's a different story. But once again, Zagzi might just escape here. Uther goes deep. And, well, they get the kill. Okay. So they can take Junkrat down. That's at least something. The fort at the bottom of the map is also going to fall. The red team is retaliating in the middle by doing the same thing here. Sylvana's super careful right now with her movements because, again, they were trying to also go to between the lanes and take one of the minion waves down. But now it's a trade in forts, so the Enjoyers can't be happy about this. They are still a level ahead, and there's some advantages that they have, but they can't be happy about the fact that they essentially, with the first curse of the game, simply exchanged forts. That's just not enough. So now they're going all the way up towards the top, and they're gonna try and, well, take this one out. Enjoy us at least. Boss is gonna push to the bottom of the map. Muradin, I mean, Mopsy always loves to be aggressive and annoying whenever he plays a mobile champion, so doing the same thing here. Still a siege giant camp, but the fort survives for a bit longer. Passive experience increase is going to accelerate it a bit now for DDX with the 2 forts destroyed, but they're going for a double boss play now. They want to get both of them. They got Rhaegar, they got the sustain. The Haka is the only one that's at the bottom of the map. Blue team is going to be contested. Enjoyers are willing to fight for this. There's the drag. Yeah, and did they get the explosion out? Nope. Instead, the boss is still active, but a bit low. Might have to let that leash. Red team is going to try and steal that. Divine Shield is out. Boss at the bottom of the map as the Haka has moved up, is alone, and can go, maybe even for the keep. But it's early in the game, so a little bit less likely. No kills so far, and the good news for the blue team is that this one leashed and nobody went fully for it. So down here, it's one tower destroyed, and with a minion wave pushing in, likely a second one could fall. Boss at the top, not taken whatsoever. So since DDX didn't lose anybody, they got more value out of the bot lane now, I suppose. But they're right back at it. This is a weird game. That double heal combo with Uther as a main tank, generally not a bad idea, but they're really trying to play around the opponent a lot. And it's partially working, but they're losing too many heroes, and it brings the red team back over and over again. I mean, look at the experience here. The minion experience is another end where the Enjoyers are just better currently. DDX is suffering in that regard, and that is a problem. They have more passive experience, and getting these structures destroyed as quickly as they were able to pull that off with the top and the bot lane is great. But they also need to make sure, you know, that they're following up on this. Muradin low, waiting for the next Storm Bolt. Greymane is now coming in. Backline attack. Nano boost on Junkrat. Riptide is about to come out. They're trying for the Haka again. They just can't get kills here. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Oh, the explosion! And the kill on the Haka. D.Va with a perfect setup here. D.Va explosion kills the Haka. Now they take Ana down. They dive deep underneath the fort. And they want another kill. They're going to get another kill. Mephisto is dead too. There they are. The kills that they've been waiting for the entire time. And it leads instantly to them also destroying the fort in the middle. But yeah, at this point everything was still fine, and then D.Va comes in with the explosion, damages Ana severely and takes the Haka out. Now they're going for the final one. They take Muradin out too. They really want that keep. They could pressure the bot lane as well. Uther, if anybody moves down to the bottom of the map, they could inspire the minions and get more value there. I'm actually a little bit disappointed that nobody does that, because I think even a single hero would do a lot. But they also want to have the big push in the middle, of course, to try and eliminate the keep. And with level 16 talents and 2 heroes still missing, they might still be able to pull that off. And indeed they do. Uther has already channeled the tribute and is now coming back towards the team. But that is the first keep gone, and on top of that, we also had an ult used by Mephisto that just absolutely went nowhere. The lead experience is now going to the blue team. On the XP side, you can see that quite easily with all of the... I mean, imagine the passive experience increase through that now. 4 structures destroyed against 1. Sylvanas is at 45,000 damage, top damage in the game. Junkrat on 40,000. Still not bad, but yeah, they are having a bit of a problem here. Now, bot lane, they're still defending, but the passive experience increase is more than making up for, or is making up for the difference in minion XP nearly completely, and soon will. They are still fighting for this. Red team obviously has a definite interest in fighting some fights. It's the best way for them to get back into that. Bunny Hop already used. Uther starting to move in. Gets the stun. Here comes Bloodlust as they're starting to jump in. The explosion. Once again, they're diving in deep. They want the kills and they get them. Ana is down. Divine Shield on Greymane. They're chasing down Mopsio and he is dead, as is Dehaka. Once more, Arian gets attacked. The 5 are still alive for DDX and they are trying for the core, apparently. Junkrat is the only survivor. They could have gone for the boss here. They could have gone for a key, but they want to end the game right now. They don't have level 20 yet. Death timers are low. I'm not sure that they can. Again, structures have now 12.5% additional hit points, but they have Greymane. Greymane is the big difference here, and he's just amazing on structures. And then, of course, on top of that, you have Sylvanas too. Even with the respawn soon happening, this is going to be it. DDX takes the series with a 3-1, sends the Enjoyers into the losers bracket with a victory on Cursed Hollow.